What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, as we all know, Doc Rivers is now a former head coach. He was fired mere days after his Philadelphia 76ers were eliminated in the semifinal series against the Boston Celtics. Now, it remains to be seen whether or not Doc Rivers will be a head coach or maybe even an assistant coach this upcoming season. I would surmise that he's probably not going to take an assistant position, and since there are no open head coaching positions at this time, I would guess that Doc Rivers will probably be a guest contributor, maybe ESPN, TNT, maybe, because, after he retired in 1996, he was for a couple of years a Turner broadcasting commentator for the NBA until he took that head coaching job. I think it was in 1999 for the Magic. I think he followed Chuck Daly after Chuck Daly retired for good with the Magic, and the rest was history. But anyway, Doc Rivers was on Bill Simmons' podcast recently, and he talked about the challenge of coaching Mongo, Slade, a.k.a. James Harden. He said it was challenging, more because we were fighting two things and not like visually fighting. James was so good at playing one way, and the way I believe you have to play to win in some ways is different because it's a lot of giving up the ball, moving the ball, and coming back to the ball. He also said that he believes that a younger James Harden would be easier to coach. And he said, at times to get him to move and play the way I needed him to play was challenging. I thought the first half of the year we were the best team in the game. I thought James was playing perfect basketball. He was a point guard on the team. He was still scoring, but he was doing more playmaking and scoring. And then the second half we started scoring more, and I thought we were getting more stagnant at times. And, look, from what I've read and from what I've heard from certain people who have some connections, I'll just put it like that, Doc Rivers couldn't stand James Harden personally. They don't like each other. James Harden, from what I look, I'm just going to say allegedly to cover my ass. From what I've heard, James Harden doesn't respect Doc Rivers as a former player. He sees him as an inferior player. So how in the world can you coach me when you were an inferior player? And there's also that other problem that sometimes we have in our communities where, how can I say this? I can tap dance around this one. Sometimes we don't want someone that looks like us as an authoritative figure. In our mind, it's almost like something that makes us want to challenge that figure. Whereas if the person looks a little different, in our mind, then we are it's almost ingrained in us that, okay, this is the type of person that I'm trained to listen to and follow and be submissive to. I think that's a problem too with James Harden and some other people. But it is what it is. Doc Rivers, from what I can understand, allegedly, he has a problem with Mongo Slade's lack of professionalism. You know what I mean? So you got Mongo Slade not wanting to change the way he plays. He's been very adamant in saying he wanted to go back to playing the way that he wants to play. There was a give and take. And ultimately, Mongo Slade set up Doc Rivers to be fired. That's the way I see it. Give me your interpretation. I think that he really set him up to be fired. You know what I mean? Like giving them an indication that okay, well, in order for me to even come back, this has to change. And Philly did it. and Mongo Slade still might go back to Houston. So it is what it is, though. Tell me what you guys think.